Hey guys, it's Madison. Thanks for joining me in this faithful home. Let's talk about the things that nobody talks about postpartum. So if you're new to my channel, I have a beautiful baby girl. This is Lorelai. She is 2.5-ish months old by the time you watch this video. So I am 2.5 months postpartum. I feel good now. I am super thankful that my postpartum recovery has been overall really easy and manageable. And I'm gonna make an entire postpartum update when I get more towards that 4-month mark. But for now, I wanna talk really focusing in on the first 3 weeks postpartum, because that's when I learned a whole lot of things that nobody seemed to have warned me about. Before we jump into today's video, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you feel welcomed into this faithful home with me. Without further ado, let's jump into these things. Okay, the first thing that nobody warned me about is that you could have a surplus of milk. Now, I've heard the term oversupply. You've probably heard it before too, but I thought an oversupply was something that happened just for a bit and then it regulated out. It never was really described in detail. You see a lot of videos on moms who can't produce enough milk or really are struggling with breastfeeding. And I'm not one of those women. I'm one of the women that thankfully have a lot of breast milk. But what was hard about that was the oversupply. That started from day 2. Day 2 of her being born, my milk came in, and it came hard and it came fast. And I wasn't prepared for that. I was prepared to, probably have a hard time breastfeeding. That's kind of what's been ingrained into society, is you're probably gonna struggle with it. And I didn't really realize that an oversupply long-term could be a thing. So a few things that I want to mention with the oversupply is not only was it hard on me physically, literally my boobs would always be hurting and they were always leaking because I had so much milk, but also it made breastfeeding sort of challenging. She latched great. I'm super thankful for that. She would eat well, but she would eat a ton. Literally, it was like fire hydrants shooting into her mouth, and she is little. She was born 5 pounds, 12 ounces, right? So she's taking in a ton of milk, which caused her to pop off the boob and cough because it would be choking her. She would take in way too much milk for what she really needed for her size of stomach. So we're dealing with reflux and a ton of spit up. My pediatrician calls her a happy spitter because she's not fussy or angry or hurting when she spits up. She just spits up a lot because there's so much milk. And it never regulated. I am so thankful for the stash of milk that I have in my freezer, but that came with a price. That literally came with the struggle of every time I feed my child, I'm assuming that she's gonna choke or gag and then spit up because she needs 3 ounces of milk at a feeding. She drinks 7. I don't know, that's an overstatement because I have no idea how much she really takes in, but then she just spits it all back up to get to what she really needed. So while I am super thankful about my oversupply, it was challenging and something that I wasn't expecting. I also was not expecting how hard recovery from the stitches would be. If you have not seen the home birth video, I highly recommend you go check it out here. But I talk about how I did not tear in my perineum at all, thankfully, but I did have lateral tears in the labia. And so the stitches hurt because your body's shifting and the friction, rubbing back and forth. Sorry, TMI, but we're literally talking about postpartum here. That hurt. I literally would rather go through childbirth again than have stitches in my labia ever again in my entire life. And my stitches actually didn't dissolve or fall out until my 6-week postpartum check, where I had my midwife check it and told her, honestly, I just want you to pull them out because you already told me at my 2-week check that they are healed, the area where the stitch was is healed. You just kind of have to wait until the stitch falls out. It did not. So she literally had to pull the 2 stitches out for me to finally feel relief from the discomfort and just in general awkwardness of stitches. I'm talking 2 tiny, this big, guys. Just tiny little stitches in my body. Literally wanted to go through childbirth again. People don't warn you about that. They say, you know, recovery is hard, stitches are hard, whatever, but I did not think it was going to be to that degree. And I have a high pain tolerance. I literally had an unmedicated natural home birth without any trouble. But the stitches, don't want to go through that again. I did not really expect how dry my skin was going to be postpartum. My midwives did warn me that down there would probably be a little dry and uncomfortable as I am healing, and that definitely was the case. But along with that was like my entire body was just sucked out of everything, and I was drinking a ton of water and keeping myself hydrated, but good night, my skin itched. It was so cracked and dry. I learned that it's the progesterone overpowering the estrogen levels in your body that causes the dry skin. And I'm talking like I would be scratching my leg like viciously until I could get to some coconut oil to put on my skin to ease that comfort. And I was expecting down there to be dry, which it is, and coconut oil, if you are experiencing that, is a lifesaver. I just lathered coconut oil up all the time. Felt a whole lot better. But I did not think that my legs would be that dry. And the last thing that I'm going to touch on today, and I literally was reminded of it 2 seconds ago when I smelled myself, is the body odor. Good night. The body odor is wild. So after you give birth, your body odor changes. Your hormones change, obviously, because you just birthed a child. And it changes to where you have this new scent. Like you have a smell, this fragrance that your baby recognizes to draw towards your boobs for breastfeeding. So obviously you sweat from your glands. You actually have breast glands, you know what I mean, in the armpits. So literally when I'm breastfeeding, because of my oversupply, I can feel it in my armpit. It's the wildest thing. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is I smell all the time. I smell right now. Put on deodorant today, still smell. Nothing helps the odor. I could shower. I do shower. Like I do shower. But I could shower, put on deodorant, and still smell just as bad. And it's a distinct smell that is different postpartum that I was not expecting. I'm already very self-conscious of that. Like deodorants really don't work for me. I tend to smell. It's something that I've always been self-conscious of. And to have it be more extreme postpartum has been a battle because who wants to go around smelling all the time? But if I remember and think about it, it's the way that my baby can naturally be drawn to me, drawn to my chest, drawn to our bond to feed. So it is worth it, but like nobody wants to smell. Okay, that was just 4 things that I was not expecting postpartum, but I want to hear from you guys. Leave a comment down below, something that you were not prepared for postpartum, because I've heard a lot of different things from a lot of different people, and these 4 I was not expecting to the degree that they were, or at all. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna make an entire postpartum update like I mentioned, and make sure you stick around for more videos because I feel like I'm finally back on a routine, like ish routine, if you could even call that. I'm literally have a 2-month-old, but I'm finding a balance. David's back to work. I'm getting more into a rhythm. She's taking better naps. Like right now, I have the monitor attached to the tripod. She is in her nursery napping so I can film this video. And so I'm ready to be back to share more of our lives, to take you into what it's looking like to be a new mom. I am going to bring more of my Christian homemaker content for you guys. I love sharing about natural and holistic living, cloth diapering, elimination communication, and how I am managing this home. So please subscribe, and I will see you guys back next week for another video. Bye guys. And just as I finished filming this video, look who decided to wake up. Say hi, Lorelai. You say hi? You say feed me, mama? Okay, let's go feed you. Bye guys.